All right. Well, hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this webinar and recorded video about how to get outside outdoor learning resources for families. And we're really excited to be joined by a number of partner organizations from across the state who have really exceptional resources to share to get kids and families outside. So these are resources that are not just tied to the school day, but resources that you can use anytime to get outdoors. I know in Salt Lake City, we've had a little bit of a cold snap, I think, across the state and the West as well. But it looks like fall will be back soon. And there's really, I think, no better time to get outside. So in case you haven't been on a zillion Zoom meetings at this point, please keep in mind that you can mute and unmute yourself by clicking that little microphone button in the left-hand corner. You can turn your video off and on as well, and you can always send a question in the chat. You can also feel free to ask one out loud as well. So just some quick information about the Utah Society for Environmental Education. We are the Utah affiliate of the North American Association for Environmental Education. And I hope that wasn't just up there on that screen. And what we do is we work to elevate the field of environmental education in Utah. As an NAAE affiliate, we work with a network of over 150,000 educators across North America as they work to bring environmental education to schools, families, and other settings. When we talk about environmental education, lots of folks often think about, getting outside, planting trees, going on a hike, and that is certainly part of it. But environmental education is bigger than that. When we think about environmental education, it really is about learning about not only the natural environment, but how the human environment interacts with the natural environment and the information that we can use to make the best decisions, hopefully leading to action. So environmental education is really holistic. It can connect to a variety of different subjects. And of course, it can be that hike, that connection, but can also lead to engagement. What we do in Utah to elevate the field of environmental education is hosting our annual conference. This year it'll be virtually. Awards and recognition for professionals in the field, programs, as well as up and coming young professionals. Providing professional development for K-12 educators, informal educators, or even parents or people who want to get their families outside. We're here to help get those resources to you. And we also advocate for sound environmental education policy. What that means for us as an organization is we don't engage in issues-based advocacy. Rather, we work to forward the field of environmental education through things like the Every Kid Outdoors initiative here in Utah and the National Environmental Education Act on a federal level. So just some quick information about the benefits of learning outdoors and environmental education. So even though this is really geared towards getting families outside, we want to really mention that there are so many benefits to being outdoors. They're a resource for learning, engagement, and of course, health. Being outdoors and having access to the outdoors is associated with things like reduced stress, greater mental and physical health, and of course, well-being. And I think we can all really use kind of that lift of the outdoors, especially right now. One thing I did quickly want to mention, and something that all of our presenters' work really ties to, is this Utah Every Kid Outdoors initiative that I mentioned earlier. This was passed by our Utah State Legislature in 2019, and what it does is it outlines 10 things all Utah children should have the opportunity to do in the outdoors, whether this is in the school day or as part of their family or personal life. Getting outdoors is important, and it's something that our state legislature also believes is important. So I encourage everyone to visit the Every Utah Kid Outdoors website and take a peek and see if you can do a couple of these things before the year is out to really engage in that better mental health, well-being, and of course, connection. But as a state affiliate, we really don't deliver programs, our partners do. And we really wanted to highlight a number of incredible partners from across the state who have a number of resources for families that are available for free. And these are resources that, again, connect to just getting outdoors and having fun. They might connect to the school day, but they're really just there to encourage you to come up with some great ideas for getting outdoors and being outside. And we're going to start with Katie Newburn from the Friends of Great Salt Lake, who's going to share more about their outdoor learning resources.
Thanks, Alex, and thank you for this great opportunity to share some tools to help us all get outside and keep learning. So I'm Katie Newburn. I'm the Education and Outreach Director for Friends of Great Salt Lake, and we are a nonprofit organization founded in 1994 with the mission to preserve and protect the Great Salt Lake ecosystem through education, research, advocacy, and the arts. And we can go ahead and go on to our next slide here. Perfect, thank you. So within our education programs, our largest one is our Lakeside Learning Field Trip program, which takes place at Antelope Island State Park and Great Salt Lake State Park. This is a free field trip program for fourth grade students all throughout northern Utah. And typically we would be bringing over 3,000 fourth graders out to Great Salt Lake every year for field trips and our 2 summer camps as well. However, this year we've been working to translate all of the content from those programs into resources that can be accessed online and used at home and in classrooms for teachers and families. So those are the resources that I will be showing you today. And I'll also be going through some destinations around Great Salt Lake that are fantastic, accessible locations for outdoor learning. So first, I thought I'd talk about why you and your family should learn about Great Salt Lake. It is so cool. It is an amazing, unique ecosystem. It's one of the most beautiful landscapes, and it's also super important for migratory birds, especially. About 5 to 10 million migratory birds visit Great Salt Lake every year. So it's a really important habitat and ecosystem, but unfortunately, it's also facing very serious threats. So as our population in Utah grows and agricultural development continues, water consumption and diversions from rivers that would naturally flow into Great Salt Lake have caused the lake's level to decline drastically, and it's currently only about 1 foot above its historically low elevation. And you can see in this little GIF at the bottom of the screen the lake's decline over the last 30 plus years. So greater appreciation of the lake and water conservation in communities that live upstream of it is really essential for the ecosystem's continued existence and health. So all of that context makes it a really perfect opportunity to learn about the dynamics of this really unique ecosystem, but also our role in its stewardship and importantly, how we can empower learners of all ages to believe that they can make a difference and have pathways to take action and not feel disaffected or overwhelmed. So we hope that this will give you some good ideas about how to learn about Great Salt Lake. So our most robust resource that we've produced and made available is our self-guided field trips for Antelope Island State Park and Great Salt Lake State Park. And these have been adapted directly from our Lakeside Learning Field Trip program with instructions to basically guide you all around these different locations, just as we would on a real field trip. So these are targeted for fourth grade, but they're really adaptable for a lot of different ages and grade levels. And they're fun for grown-ups too. And so within these field trips, there are a number of different activities that are outlined, including how to build a model of our watershed in the sand on the beach, how to watch oolitic sand on the beach react with acidic vinegar in a cool experiment, and how to catch and identify different stages of the brine shrimp life cycle. So there's instructions and outlines of all of those activities within the guides, which are all linked here in this slide and available on our website. And all of the website links will be available on the last slide of this presentation as well. And for the Antelope Island State Park field trip, we have a discounted entry rate of $1 per person for the state park. And you just have to register in advance on the Antelope Island State Park website under their field trips tab. and the typical admission fee is $15 per vehicle. So that's a great discount. And we also offer reimbursement for your entry fees for both state parks, and you can contact me to arrange that. So if you're not interested in running through the complete self-guided field trip, the activities within those are also broken down into individual guides. And that's great because that means you can do it at Great Salt Lake, or you can also do those activities in your own yard or in a park near you, and just set them up outside wherever you'd like. We also offer a brine shrimp hatch kit, which includes everything you need to hatch your own brine shrimp right at home. And all you have to do is add water. So you can request those kits and we will deliver or mail them to you on our website. You can fill out the request form. And those kits also include a packet of oolitic sand for that activity as well. So that's another really cool activity to watch a little piece of Great Salt Lake come to life right in your own home or yard. So birding is a really fantastic way to get outside and get to know the animals that we share our ecosystems with. And Great Salt Lake is an amazing place to do that. 5 to 10 million birds from over 300 different species visit Great Salt Lake every year. And it's a really important stop on their long migratory paths all the way across the Western Hemisphere. So getting to know those animals and the significance of the Great Salt Lake ecosystem is really important, and birding is a fantastic way to do that. And one of my favorite tools is the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Merlin Bird ID app. And it's so fun. It's really simple. It's free to download, and then you need to download the regional bird pack, as they call them, for Utah. And then you just answer these 3 questions you can see at the bottom, and it will generate a list of possible bird species. And it's super fun and it works really well. And it's a great tool to use at a number of locations all around Great Salt Lake, or anywhere you want to go identify some birds. So I have a couple of suggested locations to point out to you as well. So the first one I wanted to mention is the Eccles Wildlife Education Center in Farmington. This is a beautiful new facility, and unfortunately their indoor spaces, including their restrooms, are currently closed, but you can still walk their beautiful loops of boardwalks and trails. And you can basically go anytime. Their parking lot gate closes at 5 p.m., but you can walk in basically anytime and access their trails during daylight hours. These are very accessible, stroller-friendly trails. They have beautiful viewing platforms, and these wetlands are just packed with birds every time I've been there. It's so neat to go see, and this is a really fantastic place to go out, take the family out for a little evening stroll. And the Nature Conservancy's Great Salt Lake Shorelands Preserve is another really awesome destination. They have these beautiful observation towers and boardwalks. They also have some educational exhibits along the way, and they have an audio tour that you can download as well. So that's another really great outdoor learning destination focused on Great Salt Lake. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to mention is cleanups. So we are a partner of the Pack It Out Utah Statewide Cleanup, which is being organized by Utah State University's Water Quality Extension. And that's going to be running from this Saturday, October 31st through November 8th. And you can find all of the event information on their website. But part of it is using the Ocean Conservancy's Clean Swell app to track and record what kind of trash you're collecting from our waterways and public lands. And you can use this app and go outside and collect trash and make a difference for our public lands and waterways. Anytime is a great time to do it. This app is super easy and fun to use, and it's a great way to participate in citizen science by collecting and submitting data that can be used to inform research and policy. So it's a really great activity for your family and kids of all ages, and it's a great reminder about where we all fit into the watershed and how we're all connected to Great Salt Lake. As you can see on this map, if you're anywhere within this huge area, you're upstream of Great Salt Lake, and it's important to protect our waterways and the Great Salt Lake ecosystem from the harm of trash and pollution. And remember to stay safe if you're going to go outside and pick up trash. So thank you for listening to these ideas about how to get outside and explore Great Salt Lake. This is all my contact information. If anyone has any questions about any of our resources, they're all available at this link, fogsl.org, under the Education tab, Educator Resources, and you can follow us on social media as well. We post all kinds of events that we're working on, and don't forget to bring your bug spray.
Thanks, Katie. And next up is Patrick Kelly from Stokes Nature Center.
Hi, thanks, Alex. Thanks, Katie. My name is Patrick Kelly, and I'm the Director of Education with Stokes Nature Center up here in Logan, Cache Valley, Utah. And today I'll be talking about some of our free family programming that we've developed as COVID started out here in Utah for folks that we called Staying Home with Stokes when the governor's Stay Home, Stay Safe order was first declared, and then some other resources that we have available through Stokes Nature Center. So who is Stokes Nature Center? We are a nonprofit nature center, like I said, up in Cache Valley, Utah. If you can go to the next slide, please. And we are named after Alan and Alice Stokes, who are our namesakes. Alan was a professor at Utah State University, but he was also the last student of Aldo Leopold, the famous American writer and conservationist. And his wife Alice worked with the deaf community, and together they were just a power within our community for getting folks outside and exploring the natural world, and just having that community connection that we really, really appreciate. So when a nature center was being formed in the late 90s in 97, the community came together and decided to name it after Alan and Alice Stokes. So we're very proud of our namesakes and their contributions to Cache Valley. Well, this one has, yeah. So like I said, we were founded in 1997 by local community members. We're, like a lot of UC collaborators and UC members, we're grown here in Utah. Our reach, so last year we reached 12,400 people, and this year our reach has really exploded, partially because of all of our online and distance programming. And this year we've reached over 12,700 people through our free programming alone. And some of that free programming is what I'm going to be sharing with you all today. And then our current work, we operate a nature preschool. It was the first nature preschool in Utah that we're very proud of. We're the official education permittee of the Uinta-Wasatch Cache National Forest. And so we run what's called the Logan Canyon Children's Forest programs, which are all free programs that run weekly. We host school programs like a lot of other UC partners and community programs. We do trainings, outreach. We have a summer concert series, Canyon Jams, and more. So our resources for families that we have every week, we have what's called Nature Tales, which is on Facebook Live. And Nature Tales is aimed at students who are toddlers. So it's for younger children and their parents and family. And it's a story time and an activity that we pivoted to be online when the entire world pivoted to be online. The other program that we run every week is called Canyon Conversations, and these are conversations or lectures with working professionals and scientists that focus on what's happening here in Utah with natural resources or with things that folks study. So, you know, we have people who are avian biologists, and we'll talk about birds and the state of our migratory bird migratory routes and things like that, or talking about, you know, what are wild medicinal and edible plants and things like that. And then with that, we've also built some program libraries for folks and families to utilize. The first is called Staying Home with Stokes, and I'll go over that in a bit more depth in a minute. Also on our YouTube page, we have guided hike videos for some hikes out here in Cache Valley and the Cache National Forest, where we'll show you where the trailhead is and some neat places to stop along the way so that you can then go out and be with your family and sort of have that more guided experience. And then also all of our past nature tales and canyon conversations are stored on our YouTube and Facebook pages. So definitely go check it out and be sure to access those free resources, and we keep those in perpetuity. So in order to access our Staying Home with Stokes programs, these are broad programs aimed at children primarily in elementary school, and that was just based upon feedback from our community. Folks were saying these are the types of programs we would like, and so those are the programs we went and created for folks. So if you go to our website, logannature.org, and you go to that bar at the top, you'll see a little word that says education. If you float your mouse over that, you'll get this drop-down menu, and the first one is Staying Home with Stokes, and then some of our other programs. And once you click on the Staying Home with Stokes button, you'll get taken to the next page. And this next page just sort of talks about what these programs are en masse, and then also orients you to an iNaturalist challenge. So iNaturalist is a really amazing, another one of those free apps like the Merlin Bird ID that gets you engaged with learning outdoors. So how this app works is that you take your cell phone or smartphone or tablet, and you go and you take a picture of any living thing. It can be a fungi, it can be a plant, it can be an animal. And that program then, when it gets into Wi-Fi connection, syncs, and it's able to use artificial intelligence to get an approximation of what that animal or plant or living thing is. And so then you can go out, if you know, I don't know what a plant is, I'll be out there with this app, I'll take a picture of it, and then when I get back into Wi-Fi service, I'll upload it and be like, oh, it's, you know, this type of plant, and or an Oregon grape or something like that. So it's a really great app. And so you can hop on our project by clicking that link and uploading your observations. And then if you scroll down, you'll see some of our weekly lessons. And so we have 22 different lessons that we created over the course of our Stay Home, Stay Safe and through that. And these are just a smattering, these are just the first 4. And so you would click on, there's a link at the bottom of each of these that says learn more, and they pull up as printable documents with links also. So some of them include some YouTube videos of our naturalists giving talks about some of the topics. They include activities, experiments. Sometimes there are books that are readily accessible at our local library that you can check out, and other free resources for you and your family. So one of our examples is, if you can click again, please. For example, our Aquatic Life Staying Home with Stokes, this is just a quick smattering of what's on this activity. So you'll watch this week's video lesson with our naturalist, Michelle. And then at our nature center, we have a turtle and a salamander. And so it's showing some of the footage of our turtle and salamander as they lived, sort of showing that these are aquatic living things, even though they're different, being amphibian and reptile. There's an activity about measuring your water footprint, and then another activity that the instructions are later on in that document. So like I said, we have 22 of these in addition to our libraries, which hold all of our Nature Tales programs, all of our Canyon Conversations programs, all of our guided hikes. And you can find these at logannature.org. Again, my name is Patrick Kelly, and if you have any questions, you can email me at education@logannature.org. And just like to say thank you to Alex for organizing this, and excited to do some Q&A later.
Great. Thank you so much, Patrick. I'm going to go ahead and pop up Sarah's presentation. Sarah Allen is joining us from the Natural History Museum of Utah, and she's going to share a little bit more about their family resources. So Sarah, go ahead and take it away, and I'll go ahead and share your slides.
All right, there we go. So I'm Sarah Allen. I'm the Community Outreach Manager at the Natural History Museum of Utah. So we have a few different things. Like many others, we also closed our doors to visitors in the springtime. And we actually did not open again to the public until maybe about a month ago. So that is good news. When it does start to get to be colder winter weather, you are able to come inside the museum and explore what we have to offer. So things within the museum, we have every type of, we go everything from anthropology with native voices, archaeology exhibits, geology, paleontology, which is one of the things we're famous for, and our Great Salt Lake exhibits. So we're also teaching different ways of interacting with the natural world and learning about the natural world, and this is also specifically tying into Utah. So some of the programming we have our citizen science projects, which have been mentioned by a few others as well. So citizen science, this is getting the community active in learning about the world around them and also contributing to research. And this is current research, and you're contributing to the science projects that are going on. And some of these are local within Utah, and they can also be contributing to data and research from around the world. So on here we have a few listed, and these are on our website of our Neighborhood Naturalist program. You can also contribute to Firebugs of Utah, the Utah fox squirrels. And for both of these, they're in invasive species or non-native species that we're tracking data for. And you can also contribute to our Western Firefly project, which is a little bit more of a springtime thing. But within our website, we can learn more about this. And then we also have plenty of other webinars and instructions of how you and your family can get outside. So with citizen science, we had, with all our other programming that was canceled this summer, we created a hybrid of both virtual content and things to be able to encourage you to get outside and enjoy nature. And this is where we created our Neighborhood Naturalist for Kids programming. Once again, this is all free. And since this was a summer program, everything has already been launched for this and is still active through our website. We have tools about how to be a naturalist, backyard birds, pollinators. There's themes about spiders. They have videos about using the things in your backyard or in your garage to create projects, but also some suggestions of anywhere in Utah of where you might go to find birds or where you might go to find some great wildflowers or things to check out. With this, we also use for our citizen science project is iNaturalist, and this is a great app that you can download and to be able to contribute to some of these citizen science projects, but also just to be able to learn and identify any type of living thing. So along with a lot of our other, this summer we transitioned to do specifically programs to get people outside. And I wanted to also share some of these of how to still interact with nature and the environment and to get learning, even if it's maybe too cold or you're unable to go outside. So we have this really great program called Research Quest. And you may have seen, if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, we had a lot of live interviews and step-by-step tutorials that went along with these. So you're learning about the mysteries of the Cleveland Lloyd dinosaur quarry. And then also our newest one is the change in the Uinta Mountains. We also are just launching a brand new program called Stay Curious Utah. Since we are unable to do any field trips this year, so we can't host any field trips, but we have these set up for teachers and families with specific themes that will change. There'll be a new theme every month. This is just kind of an example of what one of the themes looks like. It's all hands-on activities. This is another kind of, just another slide of what it looks like on our website. You can find all of this. So Stay Curious Utah. And there's multiple themes. It's breaking it down. So We'll also have the grade range for each one of these, and they all include a live Q&A with an expert that are answering all of your questions. Another one of our online resources too, we created were virtual field trips. This is one of the first things that we did when we realized that people couldn't come into the museum, but we still wanted to be able to share it with them, is our virtual field trips that are led by multiple experts and even a lot of our museum education staff too. And I just also wanted to share, if you're able to come into the museum, we have an online registration. So this is also limiting our numbers of guests at a time. And we just launched our newest exhibit called Antarctic Dinosaurs. So, which we're pretty excited about that. And it's talking a lot about not only the really neat dinosaurs that used to live in Antarctica, but also about the life of paleontologists in Antarctica and the whole process and the change of climate. Since we picture it as a snow desert landscape, may picture a lot of penguins, but when the dinosaurs were living, that this was much more of a jungle, and how the climate has changed throughout time. So along with this too, we are also interviewing, I think we just had our most recent event, interviewing paleontologists and other experts with this too. So here's just kind of a link. We're always changing and adapting and creating new programs. Part of my job, I usually do community festivals. I usually do after school programming, and I travel around the state, and that's something I'm not doing. So I also have updated my programming for community outreach, and you'll be seeing, if you follow the Salt Lake County Library, Salt Lake City Libraries, we'll be handing out free science kits, which is really exciting. I don't have an image for those because the first round has already been reserved, but we'll have another round for Salt Lake County families to be able to reserve science kits. So beyond that, you can also check out our citizen science programs, Neighborhood Naturalist for Kids, which is our summer programming that's still available, and then the Stay Curious, Research Quest, and iNaturalist. And here as well, you can look at more tickets of how to purchase and to reserve your spot at the museum. So our website is a great resource of all the current events. Following through our Facebook and social media, you can see what virtual events we're doing, and festivals, interviews, and the new programs that we're bringing out every so often. And I think that's about a wrap. So feel free, on our website, we do have contact information to contact myself. We also have a whole large department of a lot of specialists within different education departments and different age ranges.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. And now we'll go to Kylie with Tracy Aviary to share a little bit more about their programs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kylie Jones Greenwood. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Community and Outreach Programs Coordinator for Tracy Aviary and our second campus, Tracy Aviary's Jordan River Nature Center. And I am so excited to be here to talk with you today. Alex, you can go ahead to the next slide. Lots of you probably know about Tracy Aviary. If you grew up in Salt Lake, no doubt you've been there. Tracy Aviary's been around since 1938. And our mission is to inspire curiosity and caring for birds and nature through education and conservation. We're nestled right in the middle of Liberty Park, and we are open right now. All of our indoor and outdoor exhibits are still accessible, and the birds that live there, which number over 400, really like the cooler weather. So there's no bad time to come to the aviary. We are doing a lot of things there. There's still bird shows happening every day until the weather gets too cold for our tropical birds. But what you might not know is that right before the pandemic hit, we were going to have a grand opening for our Jordan River Nature Center. And the Jordan River Nature Center's mission is to inspire and support environmental stewards of all ages. It's a different kind of experience than being at Tracy Aviary. The Jordan River Nature Center is on 3300 South right on the edge of the Jordan River. We have our gate right next to the Jordan River Parkway Trail, and we are slowly opening to the public more and more. Right now, we're open about 12 hours a week on average. And it's just a wonderful experience to be in a safe spot in nature. We have amazing local wildlife that comes and hangs out in the nature center gates. We have a wildflower field that is transitioning right now from being mostly sunflowers to being blanket flower and poppies and some other amazing things. So it's a really nice restful place just to get away from your daily life a little bit. And I'm going to tell you about our virtual programs and some in-person things that we're doing right now at both of these campuses. So we can move on to the next slide. So first, I'm going to talk about our virtual programming. We have a whole list, and our programs are hopefully there for you no matter where you are in life. If you are a parent, if you run a scout group, if you are an after-school educator, if you're a teacher in a classroom situation, we want to be there for you. So we'll go through some of these. Next slide, please, Alex. First off, I want to talk about our Little Chicks preschool classes. Thank you, Alex. So this picture was taken before the pandemic of one of my adorable preschool kiddos. We have weekly virtual preschool classes Wednesday mornings right now. And we used to do them in person. Now we've shifted online, and they're a huge hit. We sing songs, we talk about birds and other wildlife. We play videos of backstage, behind the scenes special experiences at the aviary. And it's a time for our kids to still interact with one another in a safe way. So right now we have registration for a December mini course that's all about how animals survive the winter. These classes are $10 each, so it's not too much to have this kind of great experience for your kiddos if you're a parent of preschoolers. On my next slide, you will see some information about our Scout programs. So this beautiful badge here is our institution patch that Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts can earn by doing self-guided activities around Tracy Aviary. There is a packet on our website that can be printed out, and Scouts on their own or with their packs can come and explore the aviary to earn this patch. On my next slide, you'll see some adorable Girl Scouts. Of course, we're not coming to the aviary with scout groups anymore to do what Michelle is doing here, exploring wetlands and things like that. But we have 3 badge workshops that have moved online. For brownies, we do a bug badge. For juniors, we do an animal habitats badge. And for cadets, we do the outdoor art apprentice badge. And all of these are through Girl Scouts of Utah, and we will be making packets that folks can pick up at Tracy Aviary. So they have all of the things that you would need to have the same kind of workshop experience that we would give you spending time at Tracy Aviary. Next, we have things for Boy Scouts, Scouts BSA. For Boy Scout age, we have the bird study badge, and for Cub Scouts, we do the fur, feathers, and ferns adventure. And this is the same kind of setup. We will have packets available so folks can explore the aviary in Liberty Park and their own backyards to earn these special badges. Now, shifting a little bit for after school providers or for classroom teachers, we have virtual field trips available. So instead of coming around the aviary with me, we would instead get information from you about what you and your class are interested in learning about, and we would make a tour for you. We film those. They're about a 15-minute video that then you have forever. You can share it with your class, with other classes in your same age bracket. And we would offer live Q&As to follow up on those field trips if your kids have questions about them. Right now they are $30 per field trip, but again, you get to keep it, so it's even more content for you than if you had just come on a field trip to the aviary, and it helps keep you and your kiddos safe. In that same note, we have distance learning. Normally, as the community and outreach coordinator, I'm traveling to classrooms and doing live programs like you see on my slide. However, we've shifted those to be live programs on Zoom or Google Meet. We've had great success with these. Folks are really loving them, and I am loving doing them. So right now we have a grant available for these that makes them half price. So it's only $37 to get a whole hour of Zoom programming. And it's not just your students watching a screen and falling asleep. We have games that we play. The teachers help me run trivia contests and all sorts of things with their students. And it's really, really fun. But for just general information about the aviary, we have the virtual aviary on our website. And we started making program packets and education hour videos and story times from the very beginning of the pandemic. And all of those are cataloged on the Tracy Aviary website, tracyaviary.org. And so there's a little something for everyone. If you're an adult wanting to learn how to use binoculars really scientifically, or if you're a parent that wants your kiddo to have someone read a book to them, we have things for every age. So those are our virtual programs. Now we do still have a few in-person programs that we're doing. And I'm really excited to see people, even if it is from a distance. It really energizes us and helps us remember that we're a community and we're in this together. So first we have our Beaver Lodge play group happening. And these are special learning pods for kids that are in the Salt Lake School District. Because those schools are not in person, kids are not getting the social emotional learning that they would normally get by interacting with peers at school. So we have a Tuesday pod and a Thursday pod that meet late afternoon after the traditional school day ends. And it's the same 6 to 8 kids every week. We are masked and doing everything we can to be safe while learning to make friends and explore nature along the way. So this is a view of my pod on Thursday afternoons, learning about water quality right at the edge of the Jordan River. And we are currently enrolling for our next session of Beaver Lodge playgroups. They've been 6 weeks each, and 3 of those weeks are hanging out at the Nature Center. 3 of those weeks are hanging out on the grounds of Tracy Aviary. And these are donation based. So you can enroll your kid for a donation of just $1. We want everyone to be able to take advantage of this if they need to. Next, we have Let's Go Birding Together programs. And I love these. This is my little baby. Let's Go Birding Together programs are for adults who are LGBTQIA+ or are allies thereof. And we take folks out on socially distanced birding adventures along the Jordan River. These are 2 of my participants who also happen to be staff members at the Utah Pride Center, who was our partner on this adventure. We're doing these once a month. You can find information about these and registration and our COVID measures on the Nature Center website, which will be on my last slide. And along with that, for adults, we have service projects available. We all know that the Jordan River needs a lot of love. And so we have been getting folks together to hang out at the Nature Center on our gorgeous patio, which is perfect for socially distancing, and giving them trash pickers and hanging out on the river, pulling all manner of things out of the river, and then having snacks afterwards. We are really blessed to have this huge outdoor space so everyone can have a refreshment and relax wherever they're comfortable. So look for those monthly as well. And finally, we have just special events scattered around. Right now, for example, every week of November, whenever we're open at the Nature Center, we have special exhibits that will be out on the porch. We can't have people in our building right now because it's too small to socially distance well, but we will be putting together special exhibits about beavers and where insects go during the winter and things like that. So you can go to my last slide. This is the contact information and where you can find more information about all of the programs that I have mentioned. For Tracy Aviary, you can go to www.tracyaviary.org. Or if you have very specific questions that you can't find an answer to, just email us at education@tracyaviary.org. We have a whole education tab on that website that you can find all of our information for every program that we're doing there. And for things at the Jordan River Nature Center, you can go to jordanrivernaturecenter.org or email naturecenter@tracyaviary.org. And for people who maybe have a learning pod or an after school program, the Nature Center is available to reserve the grounds for an hour or two completely free. We're doing that for community organizations right now as a way for you to explore the outdoors in a safe, contained space with your kiddos, but still have a lot of room to socially distance. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to throw us an email. It's been really nice to talk with you. Thank you for this opportunity, Alex.
Excellent. And we are going to turn the time over now to Hope Braithwaite, who is with Utah State University Water Quality Extension, sharing some of their incredible resources.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex, for putting this on, and to all of the presenters so far. It's been really cool for me to see all these neat opportunities and ideas of ways to partner too, so I might be reaching out. And thanks to everyone for holding out this long. I know I'm the last presenter, so thanks for bearing with us. And yeah, my name is Hope Braithwaite. I'm with Utah State University Water Quality Extension. And basically I love getting outside and exploring water and trying to get other people engaged and as excited about water quality as I am. So I'm here to share some of those kind of outdoor opportunities that we have available for people. I'm going to mention a few different opportunities. The main one is Utah Water Watch though. So Utah Water Watch is basically Utah's citizen science water quality monitoring project and program. And so anyone that wants to is able to volunteer with us. It's free and open to the public, volunteers of all ages too. I love it when we have family groups, community groups, church groups, school groups, whoever you can, especially right now, it's kind of hard. It's more household groups. And then if you can socially distance outside, that's one beautiful thing about being outdoors these days is we can maintain more social distance and do it in a safe way, which has been fantastic. And so this program is open to volunteers of all ages. And with water quality, it really is such an essential piece of life for us as humans and also for animals, other animals. It's just a very important piece, and we have so little water in Utah. We're the second driest state, but we also have over 15,000 miles of rivers, over 2,000 lakes. And so even though we are a really dry state, we do have a lot of waterways that we want to really look at and monitor the quality of that water because we do have kind of a low quantity of water. So Utah Water Watch, I always like to give volunteers or people that are maybe hopefully interested kind of the commitment piece of, okay, what does it take to actually volunteer or become involved in this program? And we're very flexible. We just require that you monitor once a month at least one site. And it only takes about 30 minutes to monitor. And it goes from April to October if you're at sites that are higher up in a watershed up in the mountains, depending on snow and safety, that kind of thing. It could be closer to May or even June when you can access your sites, but whenever it's safe for you to get to your sites all the way through October. So the downside of this program right now is that it is October, so we're kind of finishing up our season for 2020. But the good news is we'll have it again in 2021. And so you can still register to volunteer, even if we're finishing up for this season. So to become a volunteer, how you actually get involved, it's 3 easy steps. The first is we have an online registration form. And so if you just fill that out, we'll contact you the next time we have a training with any other information, if there's upcoming events or opportunities. So all you have to do is go and fill out that form, and then we'll be in touch with you and you don't have to worry about it after that. The second is to attend a workshop or a training to become certified as a Utah Water Watch volunteer. And this year we've done them all virtually. And I've done a most recent one. We have a tier 1 volunteers with Utah Water Watch and also a tier 2. And so tier 1 is kind of getting involved, getting engaged, monitoring, learning sort of the basics of water quality and getting out with your family or friends, whoever you can go out and monitor with. And then tier 2 is a little bit more project specific if there's a certain restoration project, or if there's a reason for us to intensively monitor and do some higher quality data collection at a site. And so I recently did a tier 2 training that was in person, and it was so much fun to actually be able to get outside with people, socially distance, masks, all of that good stuff. But I'm hoping that next spring, when we start having these trainings again in March and April, hopefully we'll be able to do some type of hybrid of an online and then an in the field portion of this. But it's usually just a few hours, a couple hours of background information, discussions, and then a portion of in the field actually going out and testing water quality. We provide all of the equipment, materials, everything you need to go out and monitor water quality. And then the third part of this is to actually just choose a site to monitor. We work very closely with the Division of Water Quality, and they have an amazing team that goes out and monitors, but it's just so much area to cover in Utah, so many different places, so many waterways. And so we're really just other eyes on the ground, especially if you live close to a water body. It's really important to have those eyes on the ground and getting more data, especially as it relates to E. coli monitoring, and then also with harmful algal blooms. We've seen those increase, and having volunteers out and able to kind of keep an eye out for that kind of stuff has just been hugely valuable. And so we'll work with the state and then also you to figure out what site would make sense for you to go and monitor. A place that's close, that's meaningful. A lot of people like to go to places where they already go out to fish or to boat or to go and have a picnic. It's just a nice way, and sometimes a nice excuse of, oh, I better get out this month because I have to monitor water quality and also fish at that place. So it's a fun, I guess, excuse to get outside. So if you're thinking, okay, that's great, and I would love to volunteer for Utah Water Watch for next year, but what can I do now? Katie mentioned this in her presentation, and we have loved working with Friends of Great Salt Lake and really picking their brains and kind of stealing some of their stuff that they've done for the Great Salt Lake watershed cleanup. They've been very, very helpful in that. So we are doing it's Utah's first, as far as I know, no one's corrected me so far, and I've asked a lot of different people, but Utah's first statewide trails and waterway cleanup. And so that's starting this Saturday. So Halloween, I mean, why not start on Halloween? And so if you want to get out and clean up a place, a waterway, a trail, and all the way through November 8th. We have a website and a registration form. The link is at the bottom of the slide, and so you can go and register and find out more information. But basically going out, and we have a whole map of all these different sites. The Jordan River, that whole pathway, I think, is on our website, so you can find a place either on that map or a place that you know personally from your experience of going out that needs a little extra attention and cleanup. One amazing thing about this year is people have been getting outside and really taking advantage of all of the great public lands and trails and places in Utah. But a negative has been there's a lot more trash. And so we're really trying to use this as a way to get people involved in cleaning up and realizing that even if you put something in one area, that eventually will all end up in our waterways, and we don't want to have all of that trash and pollution end up in the Great Salt Lake, in whatever watershed that you're actually in, those rivers and streams and wetlands and lakes. So if you're interested, you can go to that link and register there, and there's more information about how to get involved. And then we also have other resources. So there's a water quality extension website. We also have a Facebook page and Instagram. If you go to our website, we have lots of resources that you can use. On our sidebar, there's a kids page. We have lots of different activities. We have an online aquatic macroinvertebrate key. So if you want to go out to a stream or a place near you and try and look at the cool bugs that are there, you can use our online key to help identify what those animals are. We have a water footprint link. We have a bunch of different resources that you can use if you want to check that out. We also have science fair project ideas, all sorts of different things on our website that you can try out. So yeah, I think that's basically it. And I'll leave it to Alex to do questions, but again, thank you so much for having me, and here's all my contact information, phone, email, and then yeah, the Facebook and Instagram and websites, all of that good information. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much to everybody who came and shared today. All of the links will be in the notes on YouTube. So if you are watching this there, you can go ahead and scroll down and you'll be able to find all of those links to connect with these incredible programs from across the state. So whether you're looking for a way to bring the outdoors inside through a virtual program or a way to get outside with your family, there are so many ways to do that with our incredible partners across the state. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. And thanks to everybody who joined us today.